Hi guys, welcome to speed dating. You guys have 5 minutes to get to know each other and see if you guys come out as a lucky couple.
Evie. Well, hello there. I'm Andrew Carnegie.
Tell me, Mr. Carnegie, what makes you important?
Well, to be completely honest with you, I was a very famous man in the 19th century. I was, and still am, very well known for being an American philanthropist and industrialist. I was very active in the steel industry in the 19th century. I got my beginning from working most of my childhood to create a star for myself. Since my family immigrated here from Scotland to America, and I made my original start as a bobbin boy at a cotton mill. I was responsible for carrying bobbins to workers and earned about $1.30 per week. But as I grew older, I became more responsible and got hired for other jobs. I eventually, at the age of 24, landed a job at the Pennsylvania Railroad.
Interesting. Tell me, Mr. Carnegie, what are your thoughts on entrepreneurship?
Well, I believe in entrepreneurship did a lot of good. I didn't start off wealthy, but because of entrepreneurship, I am. I'm very famous and wealthy because of it. By staying active in the steel industry and creating my foundation, I created a name for myself. By devoting my life and staying persistent, I got rewarded for it. I was even able to create my own steel corporation, which is one of the biggest steel industries in the world.
Ah, I see now. Tell me, do you have any positive thoughts towards industrialization?
The world is very advanced today because of its economic involvement, and also technology is advancing because of it. Without it, I wouldn't be where I am today. Industrialization created opportunities for me. By investing time and money into multiple industries, and as I got older, I learned how to succeed as a businessman. Industrialization had many positive aspects for me personally.
Indeed. Now, do you have any negatives as well?
Obviously, as a businessman and as an entrepreneur, I had many people working for me, helping and contributing to my success. I'm very grateful for them, but at the time, I'm not sure they knew it. Working with steel is very dangerous, and I'm very grateful for the danger that they were put in and their loyalty to me. But their safety is something I should have worked hard for and prioritized. Also, my workers weren't getting paid enough for the risk that they were taking for me. I wish I could go back in time, but I can't, and protected them better.
All right, you guys have 1 more minute.
Swell. My final question will be, what would you do if someone had a different opinion than yours?
The economy is business, and everything in this world. Money is very important. Everything is an opportunity to make more money. Hard work and dedication got me to where I am today. Once I was able to fend for myself, I tried to make peace and do good. I helped fund colleges and even establish numerous nonprofits. I'm trying to repay my debt to society.
Finally, a gift. Here's one of my signed copies of my most popular books.
Oh! No thanks! No!
Hello, sir. Nice to meet you. My name is Sophonisba Breckinridge, but you can just call me Nisba for short if you so please.
Hello, Nisba. My name is Theodore Roosevelt.
A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Roosevelt. I am an American activist, progressive era social reformer, social scientist, and innovator in higher education.
I've also been taking part in the progressive movement.
Really? I'm glad to hear it, Mr. Roosevelt. I was also the first woman to earn a PhD in political science and economics at the University of Chicago. And I am the first woman to pass the Kentucky bar.
Wow, that is very impressive.
Thank you. I was also the first woman to represent America in an international conference when President Franklin Roosevelt sent me as a delegate to the 7th Pan-American Conference in Uruguay in 1933.
Ah yes, the other Roosevelt.
Indeed. I also led the process of creating an academic, professional discipline and degree for social work. So needless to say, I've done quite a bit in my short time on this rock we call Earth.
Yes, you seem like you've done it all.
I agree that entrepreneurship and innovation have done a great many good things for America, but has also done its fair share of damage, in my opinion.
I very much agree with you.
You see, Mr. Roosevelt, I've devoted much of my life to activism for women's rights, even joining associations such as the Women's Trade Union, where I was a factory inspector to make sure that women's working conditions were up to par, and many factories were in fact not.
Well, that is quite honorable of you.
I've also penned a great many books in support of women's rights, such as The Modern Household, where I go into great depth about the stereotypical feminine role in the domestic and social spheres, as well as women in the 20th century, a study of their political, social, and economic activities, where I discuss the effects of the Cable Acts on women born in other countries who, after moving to the United States, needed to prepare themselves for independent citizenship.
I will have to give those a look.
My grandfather, Robert Jefferson Breckinridge, was also an abolitionist minister, and as such, I know that American innovation has caused a great deal of mistreatment of people of color. with the main example being that of slaves. In fact, segregation is still a prevalent issue right now.
I see your point.
Now, people don't think that I believe the industrial revolution has only caused negative effects. Far from it, in fact. Industrialization has improved not only America, but the entire world in many ways, as I'm sure you're well aware of, Mr. Roosevelt.
Indeed it has.
Wagon traveling is a thing of the past with the innovation of the automobile, making travel exponentially faster and easier. And although I have mentioned how, in my opinion, factories have caused a great deal of harm to both men, women, and children, even I cannot deny the fact that factories have opened many doors for all sorts of people to make a living and provide for their families, even though there are quite a many drawbacks to that.
I completely agree. The children should be in school learning.
Well said, Mr. Roosevelt. Now then, as I've already made clear, I believe that there are a great deal of problems caused by industrialization. For one, the working conditions in these factories are quite horrific, to say the least.
Yes, they truly are. It needs to be changed.
Indeed, if you're not keeling over from lung cancer caused from all the smog in the air, you're dying in some terrible mechanical disaster.
It is no way to live.
And that's just in general. Don't even get me started on the children. As I've made clear in my book, The Delinquent Child in the Home, crime in children is on the rise, and a major driving force of that is factories.
I will have to take a look at your book.
Child labor is a horrible thing, and I'm sure you're quite aware of that, Mr. Roosevelt. Not only is it harming child physically, it is also damaging them in other ways that we can't even see with our own eyes.
Yes, it is one of my biggest passions. I cannot stand the idea of them working in those conditions.
That is great. Now let me tell you, Mr. Roosevelt, that I am a firm believer that factories are a major source to blame for the rise of child delinquency. The factories are keeping children out of school and thus depriving them of a major source of discipline.
Yes, those factories are truly awful, and not just for the children.
And
1 minute left. 1 minute left.
And on top of that, with the parents gone all day in the factories, they are deprived of yet another source of discipline and love. It is simply enough to bring anyone to tears. Oh, but it seems we are almost out of time, so let's wrap this up quickly, Mr. Roosevelt.
Yes, let's.
For anyone who might have some grievances with any of the points I made, then I respect their opinions wholeheartedly, as discourse is the recipe for any successful society to flourish.
Why, yes it is.
Well then, Mr. Roosevelt, it has truly been a wonderful time talking to you today, but I'm afraid I just don't sense a strong enough connection to have this conversation turn into something more. I apologize, Mr. Roosevelt, but I thank you nonetheless for taking the time to listen to me. I hope the remainder of your evening is one of joy and happiness, and I bid you good luck in finding someone who better fits your fancy.
You as well.
Hey girl, I'm Addams.
Hey girlie, nice to meet you.
So tell me about yourself, girly.
Well, I'm a poet and I'd like to think I'm good at it. I don't want to brag, but I just feel like one day I'll be the most famous female poet in the US. I've only published like 10 of my poems, but poetry's my life, and I've written almost 1,800 poems, so I want my poetry to inspire people to change the world. I like writing about topics most people think about avoiding, but I enjoy staying inside and away from society. But the world is such a large, interesting place, and I just like to showcase it through my poetry. I also love to garden, and my garden's so beautiful. You should see it sometime. Also, I don't know if it's a deal breaker, but my family are like Calvinists, but I don't really belong to a church.
Might be a little bit controversial, but do you think entrepreneurship and innovation have brought more harm or good to the US of A?
I think entrepreneurship and innovation have benefited America. Yeah, it plays a role in forward thinking in modern times, which comes with normalizing women in the worlds of literature. I myself have been held back by the constraints of society, and I long for a world where women have more opportunities to share their talents with the world. I think that industrialization has expedited the process to one day get there. I'm aware that I come from a more privileged background since my father's a senator, but he actually doesn't support women like me writing poetry. I hope that all of this innovation and forward thinking will encourage him and others who have these views to be more accepting of women and feel safe to do them.
Interesting take, Queen, but what do you think were the positive aspects of industrialization?
Well, industrialization has allowed education to grow and be more accessible to those who seek it. I'm a big advocate for education, and I think that it's unfair that men are given more opportunities to pursue the career choice of their dreams. There's so much more employment opportunities for women now, and the working class in general. Not more than 20 years ago, there were no colleges available to women, and I think that without industrialization, women might have had to wait even longer to start taking their future into their own hands. I'm grateful to have been able to attend Mount Holyoke seminar, although I chose to leave before my graduating year.
That sounds great. How about the negative aspects of it?
Well, Industrialization also contributed to discrimination against women, especially in the workplace. Although there are more jobs available now, the conditions of these jobs are unfair to women. I know many women working in textile mills and factories that get paid much less than their male coworkers. Their jobs are also grueling with long hours and exhausting conditions. Also, I don't like the growth of child labor. Those working conditions are incredibly unfair. Plus, since so many new factories have opened up, the environment is suffering, and you already know how important nature
Okay,
is
guys,
to
we're
me.
gonna have to wrap it up in a minute before we switch partners.
Okay. What if it affects like my vibe and I don't agree with you?
Well, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but mine's just right. I spend a great deal of time thinking about the issues in our world, which means that my opinions have more reasoning backing them. Some foolish people hastily make decisions on how they view the world and what they believe is right or wrong. If they only took the time to open their eyes and really see the problems in the world, they'd most likely have very different opinions.
Well, I love talking with you, but personally, I don't think this is gonna work out, girl boss. The vibes are all off, but you slay.
Just stay slaying, Beverly. Bye.
Bye.
Alright guys, now it's time for round 2. You have, just like last time, you have 5 minutes. Have fun with your new pairs. Yeah.
Well, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Pretty good.
I'm Mark Twain, and who might you be?
I'm Emily Dickinson. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well.
So tell me, what makes you important?
Well, I'm an author, although I don't know if that makes me particularly important. Truth be told, I was never formally educated when it came to college or university. I was just too good for it. Some of my most popular books are The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. Here, I brought copies.
I brought you some of my signed poetry too.
Oh, goodness. Can't wait to read that. Why, thank you. In my writing, I like to challenge issues in the world today. However, when I write, I want my books to have character, humor, and life. I want my writing to be an escape from reality. Let's be honest, reality isn't giving.
You're so based for that.
I want this to be something for people to look back on from years to come and never forget. Also, not to flex, but I actually am the one who gave the term Gilded Age just for this time period. And yes, that was all without college.
Okay, I see you. Random question. What's your opinion of entrepreneurship and innovation in today's world?
It's safe to say that towards this statement, I'm in between and for good reason. There are many good things about entrepreneurship and innovation, don't get me wrong, but there are also many faults as well. A person with an idea is a crank until the idea succeeds, is what I always say. People have ideas that should be able to express them. However, there's also people blinded by corruption, greed, and people willing to do anything to get what they want without thinking twice about how it could affect other people. All in all, it depends on the person, but everything has good and evil.
Okay, go off, I guess. What do you think are some positive aspects of industrialization?
The positive aspects of industrialization would probably be the fact that America has reached a road of prosperity, and it's all thanks to the creativity of individuals. Every day something new is made to change America and take the world by storm, and each one ceased to impress me. It makes me think, well, how come I never thought of that? Although I'm not sure everyone has thought of that at one point. I'm sure everyone has thought about that at one point. We have inventions like the cotton gin, steam engine, phonograph. I mean, the list goes on and on. Lives will be much easier now that we have the technology available just at our fingertips. The creativity people have is truly astonishing.
Love that. What are the negative aspects?
I try not to talk about negative things. It affects my aura. But unfortunately, with many amazing things that are happening in the world today, we often forget or are blindsided by the sad truth about these things. Corruption, greed, and exploitation are only the highlights in the world today. It's sad how good men can become so blind by what they don't have. What's even worse is that they will never see what is blinding them until it's too late. Child labor, however, is something that can change and needs to. Kids should not be working in such dangerous environments with deathly circumstances. These are only snippets of the bad of industrialization, and hopefully we can all come together to fix it once and for all.
Alright, you guys have 1 minute left. 1 more minute.
You're so real for that, but what would you say to the people who don't agree with you?
In my humble opinion, opinions are normal and they make us human. However, no matter whose opinion, the president, a king, a nation, or a country's opinion is worthless to dwell on for all a way of change. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't have opinions because that would make me a hypocrite. But opinions at the end of the day don't determine you, and they don't determine me. So overall, I don't mind when people have opinions that oppose mine, because that doesn't determine a person at the end of the day. Well, it seems as if our time is up. I truly enjoyed talking with you and finding someone I can relate to.
Indeed. Till we meet again.
Till we meet again.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks for asking. What's your name?
My name is Theodore Roosevelt. I don't know if you already knew this, but I'm the President of the United States. I know, it's a big deal. What's your name?
Well, I'm Andrew Carnegie, of course.
I don't know if this would be considered oversharing, but I just recently lost my wife. Her name was Alice, and she passed away years ago. However, after much time away, I think I'm finally ready to move on.
Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, Mr. President.
Anyways, during these things, I should talk about myself, I believe.
Yes, tell me more about yourself.
Okay then. Well, during the Spanish-American War, I have been appointed Lieutenant Colonel of the Rough Rider Regiment, something I am very proud of to this day. I also have won the Nobel Peace Prize for mediating the Russo-Japanese War.
Wow, that's very impressive.
I have also been advocating for the progressive movement. Mainly, I have been trying to advocate for trust busting. I just cannot stand the enormous monopolies that are controlling the presses and making it very difficult for competition. I have also been trying to advocate for fair trade and labor laws. Watching people work endlessly is so terribly awful. Then to think about the poor children. The factory is no place for a young child. They should be in school learning. I hope that one day we'll all come together.
I admire your passion and respect your determination. Question, what are your views on innovation and entrepreneurship, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, let's see. My views on entrepreneurship and innovation. Personally, I'm in between with the statement. I believe both have done us good, but I also believe that both have done this country some harm. Some of these larger factories have really killed our small out-of-home businesses. So many of our people are struggling to live. They either have to work all hours every day or starve to death. I believe that our government should have the right to regulate the big businesses to protect the well-being of our society. However, it has allowed our country to build our economy to great lengths.
Wow, that's very interesting. So, what are your opinions on industrialization?
Oh, do I have opinions on industrialization? Well, there have been many positive aspects. The negative aspects are truly outweighing the positives. However, I guess I will start with what I believe are some of the positives. Advances in technology, economic growth, and some of the new efficient ways of transportation have definitely been positive aspects for our country. Some of the amazing technological advancements have been the telephone, phonograph, the airplane, and more. I mean, how do they get those big metal machines up in the air? It still baffles my mind. I also believe that cotton gin and steam engine were incredible inventions. The advancements we made in transportation cannot be ignored. The steamboats and trains have changed transportation in the U.S. for the better. Did you know that steamboats using the canals allowed us to carry 100 tons of goods while traveling 24 miles a day? I may be a little biased towards the transportation because the Panama Canal is one of my most prized possessions.
No, you're not being biased at all. Please continue.
I mean, it's just truly incredible. And although I do not like the amount of work those factories give to our people, they truly have made an impact on economic growth.
It is very incredible. I 100% agree with you.
I know I just went into the positive aspects, however, I truly do believe that the negative aspects that industrialization have brought upon us need to be seen and addressed by as many people as possible. Horrible living conditions, poor nutrition, and child labor are just a few of those negative aspects. The more immigrants that come to our country, the less living quarters we have for them. Families have to live in basements and cellars which have broken floors and windows and possibly some holes in the walls. There are usually about 16 people living in one small space, which is causing much filth and disease. It's truly horrible. And because of the awful wages our factories have given out, our people cannot afford to feed themselves. They are surviving off food such as tea, bread, and potatoes. That is no way to live.
That is very interesting, Mr. President.
You guys have 1 minute left. 1
Oh,
minute.
do not get me started on children. The way they are forced to work to help their families survive. The way factories are dangerous too. I can't imagine putting my own child in this situation. That's why I'm attempting to put restrictions on child labor. The children should be in school learning, pursuing their dreams, not just sitting in a factory and working themselves to death. Oh, I'm sorry for getting so worked up. It's just one of my passions.
No, don't be sorry. I like that you're very passionate about your work. We need someone like that to run our country.
I'm so glad we see eye to eye on entrepreneurship and innovation. With some of my previous days, I've tried to explain why I'm in between, whether it is good or harmful. However, instead of listening to my opinions, they just cut me off and tell me I'm crazy and there's only one view. How rude is that?
That is so rude. I mean, that's very disrespectful.
They told me. Well, if they had let me, I would have mentioned that yes, it is good we are having exponential economic growth. However, the poverty our people are experiencing is truly horrific. The way they are forced to live in terribly broken down apartments, the way the children are forced to work should be considered before one completely disagrees.
They totally should have given you a chance. The way you explain things is so beautifully and admirably quality.
Look, our time is up. It was very nice to meet you. Personally, I think it's truly turned into something.
Yes, I think it could as well.
Good evening, my name is Sophonisba Breckinridge, but you can just call me Nisba.
Hi, I'm Jaiden Addams, and I'm a social reformer and founder of Whole House in Chicago. I'm important because I've dedicated my life to improving the living conditions of poor immigrants during the Gilded Age.
Is that so? I also happen to have written a book about immigration. I have a feeling we'll get along quite swimmingly, Miss Addams.
I feel that as well. I believe that entrepreneurship and innovation have brought both positive and negative consequences to America during the Gilded Age. On one hand, they've led to economic growth and technological advancements, which have improved the quality of life for many. On the other hand, they've also contributed to income inequality and harsh working conditions for laborers, which is a significant concern. I strive to fight for industrialization and against industrialization and beat the haters.
Indeed, those are all very good facts.
Also, another key thing that I look for in a soulmate is what they think of industrialization. Although it did bring several positive aspects such as increased productivity, improved transportation, and access to needed consumer goods, it also created jobs and opportunities for many immigrants who came to America seeking a better life.
Another set of valid points, Miss Addams.
Industrialization also had its dark side. Unfortunately, it resulted in the exploitation of labor, child labor, long working hours, and unsafe working conditions in factories. It widened the wealth gap, with the wealthy becoming richer while the poor struggled to make ends meet, just getting poorer. There were significant social, economic injustices that needed to be addressed.
Yes, child labor is a major negative to industrialization. I've done extensive research on how children have been negatively affected by factory work.
Yes, for sure. And those haters that don't match my vibe and disagree, I would say that it's essential to recognize the suffering and inequalities that exist in our society. We have a moral duty to help those less fortunate and strive for a more equal, just, and equitable America. Working together to address these issues will ultimately benefit our entire nation and create a brighter future for all.
Miss Addams, never have I met someone like you who speaks to my soul in such a way. What say you that we blow this joint and do some righteous protesting?
Well, where are they going?
Nathan,
What?
are you excited?
Yeah, totally. This is gonna go great. Nice to meet you. My name is Sophonisba Breckinridge.
While there have been positive. Wait, we have to edit that script. Hold on, pause it.
Oh my god.
Well,
Blooper. Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Hello, sir. Nice to meet you. My name is Sophonisba Breckinridge.
Hold on, I just realized.
Good evening.
You got like 3, 2, 1 action.
Oh.
Wait, no, let me not.
My name is Theodore Roosevelt.
But for short, if you so please.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Really?
alright, let's hear it again. Let's hear it
I
again.
took Bella's.
Let's hear it again.
Coaching to hearts.
Acting
Yeah.
Alright, Nathan.